The second gen Volvo XC90 has been facelifted for the second time. I've been daily driving it this week. Let's go for a drive tonight and show you what that's like. As you guys know, or some of you may not know, I absolutely adore Volvos, and oftentimes people ask if you had to buy one car to do it all, you had to buy a daily driver, you no longer have press cars, what would you get? I often choose a Volvo of some sort, usually a V60, but there's just something about these that no other manufacturer can seem to accomplish. It's kind of the stealth wealth and just the high quality feel in the interior. I don't think anyone matches the quality of the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which of course we will show you in today's video. But first, let's walk you around this newly facelifted for the second time 2025.5 Volvo XC90. I always enjoy it when manufacturers put a 0.5 on the end of their model year. It always reminds me of the 64.5 Mustang. I don't know if they were the ones to do it first. Someone in the comments will be able to fill me in on that. But what did Volvo change for the 2025.5 model year? Well, keen-eyed viewers will have noticed new front and rear fascias on this car. We also have a new infotainment system inside and some changes, more places to put things. But overall, not a whole lot has changed since this second gen XC90 came out in 2016. So we're going on about 10 years of this current XC90. And well, the last one went from 2002 to 2015. So I think we still have a few years left into this second gen XC90, but I don't really think that's a bad thing. And this update, they've changed the front end quite a bit. I really like this new grille, the new headlights. It all comes together very nicely. And this car was a bit ahead of its time when it came out design-wise, and I think this still looks proper for 2025. So this is the B6, which is the mid-grade powertrain, because you have the B5, the B6, and then you have the T8, which is the plug-in hybrid. This B6 has a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. Combined power output 295 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. This is quite a heavy beast, so it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. The T8 is probably what I would choose because, of course, this is a 4,700-pound SUV, so going on 2.5 tons. It's not the slowest thing in the world, but again, if I were to get one, I would go for the T8. Those make over 500 pound-feet of torque, and the powertrain just feels proper in this. Mated to our 2-liter turbo is an 8-speed automatic, and this is all-wheel drive. We also have the optional air suspension on this car, as well as the optional 22-inch wheels, which I think look fantastic. These are a very, very attractive design. 275/35 R22, and I believe that is a squared setup here. It is, and this is currently in its entry-exit mode, so it's kind of slammed a little bit. I mean, this is just such an attractive car. This one today finished in Denim Blue, and we have a navy herringbone textile interior, so in other words, cloth seats, which I do quite like, and we'll show you in just a second once we get in. But I do want to talk about price real quick before we continue poking around this. So the B6 Ultra, like this car is, starts at 70 grand. This one, as spec with the air suspension, the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, the 22-inch wheels, comes in at just below $78,000. So it ain't cheap, but it's a bit cheaper than some of the counterparts from Mercedes and BMW that would give you similar equipment. So we'll kind of talk about comparisons and things as we show you what it's like to daily drive this tonight. But let's start in the back and show you what cargo room is like. Obviously, we have a power liftgate, and this will reveal quite a large load surface, or quite a large cargo surface back here, and that is because this has its third row seats folded down. Now, we'll show you what room is like in these, but I do have to fold them back up, which involves coming up here and doing this. I don't think there's an easier way to do it, unless you're in the second row. Of course, I imagine that would be a bit easier to do that. So we'll do, I suppose we'll do that for the other side. But even with the third row folded up, you do actually have quite a bit of room behind it. And this is honestly not something that you often see with kind of like mid-size SUVs like this that have a third row seat. Usually room behind the third row does struggle a bit, but this even has room under the floor for a spare tire. Check that out, something that we don't often see in the 2025 model year. So all sorts of good stuff. We have some shopping bag hangers right there, which we may end up using later. They do have a 5 kilogram weight limit, so we'll try not to buy too much at the store once we get into town. But let's go ahead and sit in that third row and show you what room is like. And we'll fold the other side up from the second row because that will be just a bit easier, I suspect. So this can fold down flat like so, and you can add to your surface. Or you fold it up and you go like this, and then it slides forward to give you easy access to the third row. And then, yeah, oh, that is so much easier to put this up from the second row. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back there and see if I can fit at 5'11" in the third row of an XC90. I don't know that I've ever tried to do this before. Pull this back. Okay, well, it's a little tight, but I do fit. We have vents back here, we have little baby cup holders, and we even have a little cubby. Check that out. Does this side, oh yeah, each side gets a cubby and a cup holder. And a little tray in the middle. For small children, I think they would be just fine. They even get their own little speakers mounted over their heads to experience every bit of this 19 speaker Bowers & Wilkins, which is admittedly my favorite part of every Volvo. I really don't think anyone comes close, apart from maybe like Rolls-Royce for sound systems. Volvo just has it so right. That back. I really do love these cloth seats. It's almost like classic 80s Euro spec. Like all of the Euro luxury cars in the 70s and 80s had cloth seats because that was luxury back then. Now everything is leather, but I think Volvo does a really good job with this navy textile, they're calling it, and kind of bringing back this Euro spec vibe of luxury cloth. Love to see it. Okay, in the back seat, it's so hot, forgive me, I'm a bit out of breath. It's 101, you can see that on the infotainment screen. 102, it just went up a bit. So I am hot. I'm excited to start this and get the air conditioning on, but we have to show you the back seat. This is nice on a day like today to have these sunshades back here to block the sun, of course. We have this really nice light colored open pore wood, speaker grills for our Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which I think Volvo changed this design for the 2025.5 facelift because that little tweeter on the dashboard looks a little different than I remember from 24. Fold down armrest with cup holders. That is nice to see, and it's quite plush as well. We've got pretty good materials overall in the back seat here of this XC90. Get your own climate control panel. You've got vents that really need to be on. Let's quickly show you this 2-liter, and then we're going to start this thing up. So I am sweating. This XC90 is rated at 23 mpg. This hood is very irritating to get open. There it goes. Don't know if somebody broke this. Is that supposed to be like that? I don't know. Anyway, this is rated at 23 mpg combined, 20 city, 26 highway. This 2-liter sits down quite far into the engine bay, you can see there. So trying to lower our center of gravity, I suppose. And look how high that hood goes up. Volvo hoods always essentially just go into service position, I think. Gives you plenty of room to work on this thing. But engine bay is nice and tidy. They've got this kind of rubber engine cover. They've been doing this now for quite a while. I suspect for sound deadening, though I believe someone from Europe told me it's for pedestrian safety. I don't see how that would have anything to do with an engine cover, unless you're driving around with no hood on your car. But somebody can confirm in the comments for me. Let's go ahead and shut this big, mighty hood there. All right, that's enough being outside. We need to get in this and turn on the AC pronto. And we'll drive this downtown. We'll commute it downtown. We got to stop at the store tonight as well. And we'll give you a glimpse into what it's like to daily drive one of these. Fuel range showing 150 miles. I think I've only been averaging like 19. This car did go live with the Topher for a couple of days out of the week, so I don't know how he was driving it. Probably not too crazy. So we've put 188 miles on this car this week. We've done 19.4 mpg, average speed only 28 miles per hour, so quite a bit of city driving. As I said, this is rated at 20 mpg on the city, but also it's been 100 degrees all week. We've been blasting the AC. The car's done a lot of idling to cool off before drive, so that makes sense why the fuel economy is quite poor. As far as changes inside the cabin, I think there have been some meaningful ones. We have this new infotainment screen, which still does not have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is hilarious to me because Volvo has added this little wireless charging pad in front of our crystal shifter here. But I suppose it's only meant for your passenger, or maybe they're assuming that you're going to use the built-in Google system in this infotainment and not run CarPlay, but I always like to run CarPlay, so we're going to do that tonight. And I think they've made this center console a little bit bigger as well. One thing that Volvo never really got right was places to put things. They always kind of struggled with that, and this XC90 does solve some of those problems with this addition of the wireless charger up front. We still have these couple of cup holders behind this trapdoor, though they don't fit my big dumb cup and Emily's big dumb cup very well. I think the cups must be smaller in Sweden, but I do love this light colored wood little trapdoor. You can hide those away. And then we have plenty of room also in these door pockets, but I just appreciate that there's one additional spot to put things here now in front of the shifter. We also have a slightly different Volvo badge on the steering wheel. This used to just be the classic kind of chrome badge. Now it's filled in black, and it's a bit more of a brushed aluminum look, but otherwise I think the steering wheel is unchanged, cluster unchanged. You can see we have our Google map there in the middle. You are able to opt for a camera rearview mirror, which in this case would be quite helpful. Now, Volvos always have this special feature where you can fold the headrest. You can see here there's this button headrest fold, but it only does the second row. So if you want to do the third row, you have to get out, open the trunk, and fold those down manually. I've just been rolling most of the week with the third row collapsed down into the trunk. But luckily Volvo will sell you a camera rear view mirror, which just completely mitigates any need to fold headrests at all. But this car has not been equipped with that. I wish it was. Otherwise, materials up here are nice leather on top of the door panels, leather wrapped dash, really nice blue textile here on the dashboard as well, and then some more of this bright wood. Nice mix of materials and just a nice cozy feel in this interior. Volvo has kept a lot of their still existing physical controls. We get this big volume knob in the middle, hazards, defrost, buttons to skip tracks, a button for the glove box to open where we can see Arm and Roni, which we'll put all these options in the description for you guys so you can see specifics on this. But $77,645 is our total MSRP. But all right, I think that's enough. Let's get this out on the road and we'll show you what it's like to drive. Digital owner's manual in here, which we'll talk about an aspect of that once we get out on the road. I am honestly struggling to navigate this system a bit. Back to CarPlay. All right, into reverse. We have a very nice high quality reverse and 360 camera. You can see somebody's been back doing even more donuts in this parking lot, which a lot of you have been accusing me of doing this, which I don't really understand, because why would I come and do donuts in a parking lot that I rely on for my intros? That would be like where you're eating. That would make no sense at all. So it is not me. I don't know who this is. Hopefully the person that does this isn't watching the channel, but if you are, please stop, because I would like to continue using this parking lot and I don't want those to get blamed on me. I will admit they do look kind of cool, like a Forza start screen type thing, but I don't condone it. Anyway, all right. 360 camera stays on as you go into drive, which I do like. We're going to turn this vent speed down just a bit. All of your climate control does exist in the infotainment screen, but the system is reactive enough to where it's fine, and you can set it into full auto and kind of just forget it. I would like to see physical controls, but that would be just beating a dead horse because Volvo has not had them for quite a while in the XC90. Smart car! Check it out. That is a rare sight in the States. Somebody's Meemaw's driving it. Actually, a lot of people just use those for drag racing support, like pit vehicles. Anyway. Beautiful progressive throttle response here. Overall, just great tuning with this 2-liter turbocharged inline-4. Transmission tuning with this 8-speed, very nice as well. You don't feel the shifts, and you can actually shift gears manually with a crystal. I think this is the only car you can do that in, because the BMW crystal shifters, you can't shift with them. You have to use the paddle shifters, but this you can shift gears with and crystal. I do very much enjoy that. Steering feel, very light. This is kind of a signature Volvo trait. However, if you're not a fan of the light steering, you can click your little drive modes button here on the infotainment and you can put your steering feel into firm. Now, this, in my opinion, doesn't really change a lot. The steering is still ultra light even when you're in firm mode. But if you're going to do some spirited driving, it helps a little bit. Obviously, it doesn't change your steering feel at all. It just makes it a little bit heavier. But you feel less floppy. You can see all kinds of body roll from this air suspension, and I love it. I love when an SUV drives like an SUV. This is an honest 4,700 pound soft rolling brick, and that's great. It's an honest car. You know, Volvos never try to be something that they're not, and that's part of why I respect them so much. See, we'll put the suspension feel into firm as well. Come into this corner. Tires are howling. We'll power out. Oh yeah. It's not very fast, but it's an okay power level. It can get out of its own way. With suspension in firm, you can see there's still quite a lot of body roll. Actually, that doesn't really feel too different to me. No, I guess it is. All right, it's a little bit tighter in firm, but I'll keep it in soft. I'll keep steering feel in soft. That's the way I enjoy driving these cars. It's the way they feel the most honest. So you can also put this into off-road mode, but since this doesn't have the optional Polestar engineered package, we don't have a sport mode or anything, but I think that's okay. I mean, if you really desire to have a Polestar package on your car, you can have it. I wouldn't. I would just have it like this. I think this is all you really need. So you can get out of this driving dynamics menu. Oh, okay, so now we're back to, this is what the normal screen looks like in this car. I think it looks better on CarPlay. I like my dark ways view there. Got double map going on, but that's okay. You can actually kill the map if you don't want to see it and just have a black screen, but why not? Brakes feel nice. No complaints there. I mean, dynamically, this car is just so easy and lovely to drive. Now, some of you know the lore with there being allegedly 0 car-on-car related deaths in Volvo XC90s. And there was actually a study done in the UK that showed from 2002 to 2018, there were 0 reported car-to-car accidents that resulted in deaths in a Volvo XC90. Now, that can't be said for the car that the Volvo XC90 hit, but what I'm saying is this is a very safe car. Let's put this into manual mode for this entrance ramp. There's 60. See that? Shift with a crystal. That's quite special. So, obviously, Volvo takes safety very seriously. This has a 5-star crash test rating across the board. That is such a bad place to break down or have an accident. Obviously, Volvo takes safety very seriously, and that's kind of been their thing as well. They're known for good sound systems. They're known for being safe. And they're also known for depreciating quite a bit. The Topher and I have a running joke that eventually every Volvo is worth $2,000 at some point. Now, with inflation and things, I don't know that that'll be the truth going forward, but most Volvos do end up depreciating their way down to the 4-digit dollar amount, which is great because it means that anyone can have one. I think there was actually recently, there was a case in India where a shipping container fell on a 2nd-gen XC90 and it killed everybody inside. So, I don't know, can you count that? Because I mean, a shipping container falling on a car, I mean, you could be in a Humvee, an armored Humvee, and you'd probably still be killed. So, yes, the Volvo XC90 is safe. Does it mean you're indestructible? Probably not. But I always think that statistic is cool, that from 02 to 18, nobody died in an XC90. All right. enough of the lore. Let's talk about what this is like to sit in on the highway, and I'm happy to report that it is quite pleasant. Volvo has gone through and added more sound deadening for the 2025.5 facelift, so it's pretty dang quiet in this cabin. In fact, I could whisper for the remainder of the video and it would be fine. Yeah, it's very nice. No interior rattles in here. Everything feels very well put together. Now, it is, oh, look at that, it's dropped down to 93 degrees. That's nice. Usually when it's this hot out, nothing really rattles because everything's expanded, but this interior does feel really, really well put together. Even more so than some previous Volvos that I've driven. I have noticed a couple of interior rattles in some of the 2024 model cars, but this one feels great. It's got about 3,000 miles on it, so who knows, in some time maybe it will develop rattles, but right now it is quite good. This does have pilot assist, so it will steer for you. It's got adaptive cruise. You can adjust your distance here with buttons on the steering wheel. Are you listening, BMW? It's not that hard to do. So that I very much appreciate. It'll let you go for about 10 seconds before it prompts you to hold the steering wheel. Elbow comfiness, pretty good. Got a decent amount of squish here, almost like kind of like a rubberized feel on this center console. It could be squishier in my opinion, but the driver's door panel has a perfect amount of squish, and your elbows are at an even height, so you can drive comfortably with your hands on the steering wheel as such, as I'm doing right now. Driver's seat is fabulous. I love this cloth. There's a ton of adjustment here. You can adjust your lumbar, you can adjust your leg extension thing. You can see you can toggle this in the infotainment if you want to adjust the leg extension. You can do that as I'm demonstrating now. Yeah, we're going to kill the cruise control, though adaptive does seem to work pretty well in this Volvo. I've been impressed with these systems for the past couple of years. They do a good job overall. Oh, we lost CarPlay. Even though the steering is super light and you have a ton of body roll, this car doesn't feel nervous on the highway. It's not overly floaty. Because there are some cars that, in my opinion, are a bit too soft, and this is not one of those. It does still feel confident on the highway. Really nice vent placement in this car. These vents have changed just ever so slightly with this newly revised dashboard for 2025.5, but they still do the trick just fine. We can come in here, suspension in soft. Over these expansion joints, got a little bit of chatteriness from these 22-inch wheels. I mean, that's to be expected. There's always a bit of a trade-off. Let's test out these visors. Oh yeah, quite nice. There's always a bit of a trade-off because you can either look cool with big wheels, which we're doing right now, or you can have a comfy ride. Now, the ride quality in this is quite good, as we've kind of shown so far, but it's diminished ever so slightly by these big fancy looking wheels. So you don't have to have these. They are an optional extra. You can opt for, I think it's a 20 or a 21 inch wheel that comes standard, which is probably what I would do, but these just look so dang cool. One thing that's been a bit frustrating for me this week, and this is where the digital owner's manual bit is going to tie in, is that I cannot work out for the life of me how to turn off auto stop start. I Googled it, and it kind of took me through a process, but I think that was for a pre-facelift car. So then I searched in the digital owner's manual in the infotainment, and it didn't tell me how to do it. It showed that the car is equipped with auto stop start, but it didn't then tell me how to turn it off. So that tells me you cannot turn it off. And on a day like today, when it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't want to pull up to a set of lights and have my air conditioning shut off. It's not a pleasant experience. So that's my biggest complaint about this car, is that you can't turn off auto stop start. And if there is a way, please tell me, because I would like to know. But as far as I can tell, there is no way to turn it off. And I know this is a mild hybrid, so it does begin, it stops and it begins very smoothly, but that's not what this is about for me. It's about not stopping and sweating to death. I mean, we'll stop here. Okay, you can see the car's shut off. which means the air conditioning has shut off. If you take your foot off the brake, the car will turn back on, and then you put your foot back on the brake, the car will shut back off again. So I don't know. I thought it was this, but that's auto hold. So it's definitely not that. And there's nothing in the infotainment. I've gone through every single menu in this and have not been able to find anything. Let's see what maneuverability is like here in a parking lot situation. Turning circle in these cars is always nice, and they are really easy to maneuver around because the steering is so light. Now, it's not the fastest steering, but you can steer it pretty fast because it's so light. You don't feel like you're lugging this big 4,700-pound SUV around. I'm just doing a bit of a loop here. You guys know where I generally park, but I just want to kind of show off our turning circle and everything. You can see, yeah, this thing has no problem getting around the parking lot here. We'll wait for this nice Honda Ridgeline to pass as my air conditioning shuts off again. Now, we're just going to take this end spot here, and we will back this into a spot. Push your crystal forward. That will put you into reverse. Honestly, the XC90, since it's been around for so long, it hasn't really had a chance to get too big. This is the same size it's been for the past 10 years. And I mean, this isn't really even that much bigger than the 2002 XC90, the first generation. You do have to apply your parking brake. It does not come on automatically. I didn't see a setting to toggle it to do that. Maybe there is one, but I didn't see it. Twist this little guy to shut your engine off. I always love that as well. It's just another one of those little unique touches that Volvos have. Instead of a button, it's a little switch that you turn. I think we're probably good to take the neutral density filter off of the camera as well. So we'll do that once we get out of the store. But I just wanted to show you guys what placing is like here, or spacing rather, in this parking spot. Plenty of room on either side. If you had a car next to you, you could open the door and not smash it into them. These doors, they don't really open super wide, but they're a good size. As you can see, they just go just that much over the other parking spot there. So plenty of room. Rear doors open a little bit wider, but still, it's all good. All right, I'm gonna run into the store, grab a couple of things, and then we will wrap this little commute into downtown. Only one bag of groceries today, so we're not gonna be testing out capacity or anything in this XC90, but one thing I wanna show off is the fact that this has rear proxy key, one of my favorite features in any car. I'm curious also if this has a kick sensor back here to be able to open the trunk if your hands are full. Maybe it does and I'm just aiming in the wrong spot. But anyway, let's open this up and see if one of these bag holders is even going to be beneficial to me today. I don't think it will, because unfortunately the bag is taller than the hook. So we're probably just going to stick this in the back seat. That'll probably just be the easiest thing. Yeah, just stick it right there. Nothing too important or perishable in that bag, so I think it'll be just fine. All right, let's finish our journey into downtown. All right, well, as we get into downtown, why don't we start the sound system test on this 19-speaker Bowers & Wilkins. Lots of different settings, all of which we will show you. We're going to start in Studio Driver. This is the crispy driver focus settings. Nice. Box body Mustang. So, I mean, you can tell that they care. This is a level of detail in a system that you really don't get with any other manufacturer. All of these different settings, concert hall, jazz club, all of these different studio settings, driver, front, rear. It's really, really impressive, and it's really cool to see a manufacturer care this much about a sound system and still care even into the 2025.5 model year, as I've enjoyed saying this whole video. But Volvo has not changed their desire to have the best sound system in the game, and they most certainly still do. It's almost like you're swimming in the music. It's like the music is goop and you're in it. But I mean, that's just about going to wrap it up for us today. You guys know my thoughts on this. I think Volvo does a really good job kind of catching this luxury vibe, the stealth wealthness. I mean, not everyone looks at this and thinks that you're a rich prick. I mean, I was driving a Range Rover this week, which you guys will see over on the Winding Road magazine channel. And it was a long wheelbase autobiography. And no one wanted to let me merge. I had multiple people at night shine their brights on me for no apparent reason. I was not initiating anything, but it's cars like that where you have this certain image that you don't necessarily want to have, and you don't have that image in a Volvo XC90, and it's sad to say. I mean, it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't judge a car off of like societal things that people have decided are appropriate for them, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that you can kind of fly under the radar a bit in this XC90 if you don't want to be flexing your wealth on everybody. Here you go. This is the car, and you still are nice and cozy. You have nice materials, a banging sound system. It's really just everything you want. What I don't want is a Lincoln MKX with hideous wheels. Oh, yep, you got it. I mean, people should really start appreciating this car for what it is. An indestructible, anti-tank armored, not actually, but a very, very safe mobile sound studio. That's really what this car is. Got parking cameras coming up automatically.
Please select an event from the screen menu.
I'm at a perfect height to grab a ticket here.
Please proceed into the lot.
Thank you, I will. Really, I mean, look how high def that camera is. Very, very good. Winding up the structure. Very light steering. You can kind of just toss it. You can throw the steering wheel. It's so light, it'll actually turn the car. We do actually have ambient lighting in here. I can't remember if the pre-facelift cars had ambient lighting, but this just has one color. It's just white, which is usually all Volvo does. I think, do they sometimes have a warmth setting? Like you can have like a yellow or a white type thing. This only has the one color. But I love this car, and you can get into one of these for under 60 grand. The base core trim level starts around 58, 59,000, coming up to the Ultra, which does give you access to spec on the Bowers and Wilkins, which, I mean, in my opinion, you have to have it. The Bowers and Wilkins really makes this car the mobile sound studio that we know and love. So let's get this parked up here on the roof of the structure during golden hour. Summer in Michigan is just the best. All right, let's shut this off. Give you guys one last look at the exterior as this car airs out into its entry-exit ride height. You'll see it drop back there. Yes. Stance Nation. Well, that's going to be it. I mean, as far as comparing this to like an X5 or a Mercedes GLE, I do genuinely think there's a lot more value in this car and a lot more uniqueness. I think Volvo is a company that people often overlook. If I was going to have a $77,000 X5, I don't know that it would be as nice as this. A $77,000 GLE, I don't think it would be anywhere close. So it's worth considering if you're looking into a luxury SUV. The XC90 has been around for a while, but it still feels fresh enough. It still keeps up with the times, and boy, do I love this thing. So that's going to wrap it up for us today. If I left anything out, please ask in the comments, but that will do it for us. Thank you guys all so much for watching and hanging out until the end. If you have made it this far, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for, what are we at, 114,000 subscribers at the time of this being filmed. That is just nuts. I appreciate it so much. But okay, that'll do it for real this time. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.